fans, type 2 diabetes rescued by keto fans, super curve honing fans, and in general wet shaving fans. Today I'm doing something a little different. Today is December the 23rd. It is the day of the Christmas Eve Zoom call for the cadre. I'm going to do a shave, a little bit of a different shave. I'm going to do like a little bit of a showdown. Feather DX versus Gillette New Short Comb, kind of rough looking. And then I'll talk as I go through this. Haven't done anything ahead of time. The brush I'm going to use is this like really big, high mountain, high loft. This was probably one of the more expensive brushes that Sterling had, and I don't even know if he's carrying this particular one anymore, because really it's nice, but you know, if you spend $100 or a couple $100 for a brush, does it really perform that much better than one you can get for say 10 or 20 in terms of the results of your shave? I don't think so. But that's what wet shaving is all about. It's all about the hobby. It's all about the difference of things, the exposure, the fun of doing this, and the variables and the learning processes we go through. The soap is by Fine. This is their new formula after the Real Hard Puck formula company that made those for Fine disappeared. They went out and they found this soap. I don't know who makes it, but I do like it. It does lather pretty easy. I actually don't have a whole lot of trouble with the water here getting a slick lather with almost anything that I have to use. I didn't realize how, I have a water softener here. The water, if I had to use the water without the water softener, it would be more difficult. And I didn't realize how much effect that has in it until I don't travel much these days anymore. But until I went to the Shaving Cadre first convention in Vegas and shaved in Vegas and found out, gee, this soap is harder to lather. So I have successfully on my keto trip so far, and I think this is going to be a permanent thing, successfully dropped out the heavy cream from my coffee. I would drink typically 4 of those coffees every morning, and each one would have a tablespoon of cream. And part of that was that to train your body to burn fat, to use fat as a fuel as opposed to using sugar as a fuel, and thereby controlling diabetes. You have to consume the proper amount of fat till your body gets used to burning that and is able to do that. Even though if I went and ate some sugary or starchy thing, my body would immediately burn that off first and it would move back. It's like, but how quickly would the transition of my body take to move back to fat burning? I don't know yet, but there are people who have done that and found it moves pretty quick. So first up is going to be the Gillette Short Comb, new Short Comb. It's a rough razor. It was rougher when I got it. I cleaned it up. It was pretty, but you know, one time I had thought about replating it because of the nostalgia of this piece and the historical significance. This might be a little hard to believe, and I say this was one of the most difficult shave pieces that I ever had to learn how to use. And I'll further explain why I think that and how I went through the progression on it. This has a Sharp Star, which is gifted to me by Great gentleman, Joseph. If you tune in, thank you. I don't know if Joseph or Jason. They both sent me Sharp Stars because these guys were at a place that gave me the toss because they didn't like how I honed my razors. At one time, like all these guys, Sharp Stars were like dirt cheap, and all these guys bought truckloads of them, and they got a blade. Not a bad blade. I think this is 3 shades. This is number 3 on this. I'm not really sure. Okay. And I don't have my excess leather stored shirt on, the Cadre shirt, so so we're doing half-faced. What a half-faced shave. Okay, and this is the Feather DX. This has a Feather Professional Super blade in there. I know this is 2 shaves on this. And just right out of the gate, the one thing that I noticed is this side, this tool is not giving me any resistance whatsoever. It just kind of goes through. My shave journey, I started out with double-edged blades. Some people did. You know, everybody has a place that they start. And mine was with double-edged blades. Definitely a greater result on the first pass with the DX. And I don't think this particular soap wall puffs up lather easy enough. I don't think this is quite as slick. It's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. I'm not saying don't buy the stuff because it is good. And the what is the name of this stuff? Clubhouse. This is the homage to Pinard Clubman. Has a very, the scent's pretty much, in my opinion, right on with the Clubman aftershave. And I got some of that here too. And I can talk about that in a minute too. So one of the things my journey started was with a DE, like many people. And as you move from like so many of us did, from cartridge razors to a different shave tool, you have to go along and go through the process, and you have to learn how to do it. It takes some time. And after getting that Gillette razor, a lot of people love them, okay? I didn't have much success with it. There was other tools that, you know, and this is what leads to the tendency that a lot of people have, will change the blade, you know, buy, and you wind up with bucket loads of blades and all this kind of stuff. And wind up with a lot of jumping around, which is jumping around is fun. I just don't think on the learning process that is the best thing to do. You may have noticed I do a little bit of a different, small changes in my shave pattern from one tool to the next, simply because there's things that I can do with a tool like this that I can't quite do with a straight razor. People do, though. I have not got to that point yet. It's one of those things. You got to go inside your comfort level, and you got to play around. You got to try. And then again, I'm still at saying the feather is outperforming. So the Gillette, which is surprising. I don't know if I ever did this side by side before. And my normal double-edged blade would have been a feather blade. Those are the ones I started with, are the ones I like the most, with the exception of a DE Shavette. I like the Gillette Silver Blue, and that's a performance type thing, that a preference, not a performance thing, because you should be able to learn to adjust. Just like I'm trying to learn to adjust between one tool and the other, you should be able to learn to adjust from blade to blade to blade based on what you're doing. Now, why do I say that this was so hard to learn to use? Okay, and there were people whose heads literally exploded when I said a DE blade is harder to use than a straight razor. Because they got the straight razors and, this is, I'm the best shaver because I've learned to shave with an open edge. And yeah, okay, I get it. I dedicated more time initially to open blade shaving than I did with double edge shaving. I would pick these things up and I would use them. And that right there is where I usually would get into trouble with these, where you're not quite on the exact perfect angle, or your edge is a little different, or whatever. That's where I would get, even with the DE, I would get the a level of irritation. So on the DE, and I eventually, at one point, I hit the point in time where, because I spent literally almost a full 3 months totally dedicated to learning a straight razor, never did it with this. I would pick this up here and there, and it would always not deliver the best shave, just like in here. Okay, I had a little bit of it, and I'm trying to adjust and not injure that particular delicate area, which is so easy for me to do, regardless of what tool I use. Because right there, that's against the grain, okay, and it's easy to doing that move with any tool, go deep and carve off a little more skin than you want to. So there came a point in time where I decided, well, I'm going to use this for nothing else but this for a month. And I did that. And I learned, you go through you read the things, you listen to people when, ride the cap, ride the bar, and, learn to feel the edge, and lots of different advices that you should in the learning process, you should try these different things. Okay. Don't accept my opinions. Don't accept anything anybody says when there's a difference of opinion as the way of the gospel, because you need to find your own way and you need to do your own thing. So absolutely none of the resistance with this tool. And this was the tool that I picked up, and I went from straights to shavettes, DE shavettes, and then I got this, and this exact same setup was the first one I put to my face, and I thought, whoa! And to this day, my honest opinion is that this setup right here, okay, is for me, the top shaving setup. Similar to this, I do like the Essence razor a little bit better than this because it's a little thinner, doesn't quite have the spine width, but still, what shaves is the edge, and they're really close. I could, with this blade and the identical tools, I can deliver identical shaves from one to the next. Now, this blade, I think I said this was number 2 shave with this, and number 2 is usually probably the best on that. One, it's a little pointy, okay, where you feel a little bit more. Number 2 is kind of smooth. Number 3 is where it's starting to fall. And by 4 or 5, the Feather Pro Supers, to me, they're done. Okay, they begin to start to resist and tug a little bit, and I toss them. And there's just no question. I should have gotten a much better shave with the DE. I'm gonna, rather than to pick up the I'm just gonna do another pass. On that side to see if I can get them to match. And that's why I say, I know, because I did this at the end of my period. Now, I was not using this blade. This one's going in the bin after the shave. Okay. But going through the process of using this, I got to the point where I could match the end result with this tool as what I got with this tool. And that's the part of the fun of learning to do that. Now, what helped me do that what helped me get there with this tool was actually this tool. Now what I did here, I'll see how, give you my evaluation. And at this point, they match. And I'm not going to go in for a cleanup, although I could, because I may want to shave a little bit more frequently now it's the holidays. I'll just smear a little alum on, and no difference in sensation on the alum from one side to the other. But what I did there was, and this was what it took me a long time to learn, because I was trying to follow through with what had generally been the basis of any of my shaving with any tool, was low angle light touch. And what I found out, to get this tool to match the end result of this tool, what I had to do was I had to go, instead of staying quite so shallow with the angle, okay, I had to increase the angle and increase the pressure a little bit. And that's usually what you don't want to do. You usually do not want to steepen your angle and increase pressure. But on this tool, that was what I had to do. And I could tell just on that pass by looking at it, if I didn't have enough pressure, the combs, you would see a trailing of the lather from the comb until I put just enough pressure on to get the blade to make the contact. And you could feel, and yes, I'd had some of the progressive beard reduction you get with the multiple passes. And the little bit of stubble that was left responded very well with very little resistance to what I consider a blade that's on its way out. Okay, that was not as sharp as the other tool, but the end result is the same. Okay, so which razor was harder? I think it took a little bit more skill. And again, this is just me. I took to this, now maybe it was because I spent 100 days learning to use a straight and then took to this pretty easily, okay? And never really put in that kind of investment of time on this particular tool until I really, really wanted to learn how to use it. And even now, okay, I didn't expect to have to do really that total fourth pass on this particular shave. I expected them to be the same after 3, but I don't have any difference in the sensation of the alum. I'm using the red cap stuff. Getting kind of low in there. I'm wondering if I should rebuy this or not. I don't know. This is the unscented, because I don't want to spoil the effect of the aftershave choice. So going through that, which shaves better? They both shave the same, and that's regardless of the tool. In wet shaving, going through, you should invest the time and play with the variables on there and learn to change the little different things so that the end result is the same regardless of what you have to work with. So do I need to use feather double-edged blades? No, I don't. Okay. Do I need to use a shavette with a feather professional super, which I think is, in my experience, the sharpest? Or can I use something that is a little bit less? I can. I just change what I do. Okay, so for the aftershave, I'm gonna use the homage to Clubman, and the smell on this is probably a little bit better. A lot of people say they notice an off smell because of the Pernod Clubman in the plastic bottle and they decant it into a glass bottle. I don't do that. And maybe there's a little bit of a fresher. It's not the same. It can't be the same stuff. There's definitely a difference in the sensation. There's something about the Pernod Clubman that gives an effect in the skin that I like better than this. This is, I think, an alcohol, and I can't even see what's in there. But I think there's a solvent in the Clubman that's a little bit different than that, the real Clubman. So that's the shave, and the teacher for me to learn to use the double-edged blade was this. And the same guys the same people whose heads exploded when I said this was hard to learn to shave. There was some of the straight razor professionals had said that, oh no, straight razor is a little bit harder. Okay, and then I said the same thing about this. I think this tool outperforms, even though I think I like the method that I have chose for honing and the result that I'm getting really close to this, close enough that I can make small changes in my technique and get a pleasurable shave. Still, this has always been my target for what I use to deliver the shaves that I like, and that's what this is all about. So we're approaching the end of 2022, okay, and it's a little before Christmas. Tonight, if you catch this video, tonight is the Christmas Eve Zoom call for the Cadre, where my commercial for them, that's where you go, the Shaving Cadre, Bill M, that's me on YouTube, and that's my avatar, has been that for a long time, Max Headroom. I'm wishing everybody a very, very Merry Christmas, a safe holiday season, and enjoy your families and those people in your lives that you treasure. So the best to all of you, and this is Bill.